Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you not as someone who seeks revenge, but as someone who has learned the power of self-worth. There was a time when I gave my all to someone who didn't appreciate me. I loved with all my heart, forgave when I shouldn't have, and stayed when I should have walked away. But today I am no longer that person. Self-worth is the foundation of how we allow others to treat us. It is the understanding that we deserve love, respect, and kindness not because we have to earn it, but simply because we exist. When we fail to recognize our own worth, we often settle for less than we deserve, accepting mistreatment, neglect, or emotional unavailability. But the moment we embrace our value, everything changes. A person who knows their worth does not beg for attention, love, or respect. They do not wait for someone else to validate their feelings or prove that they are good enough. Instead, they carry themselves with confidence, knowing that they are enough just as they are. When someone fails to appreciate them, they do not shrink or try harder to prove their value. They simply walk away, understanding that their worth is not determined by someone else's inability to see it. Recognizing your self-worth is not just about relationships, it is about every aspect of life. It affects how you pursue your dreams, how you allow friends to treat you, and how you navigate challenges. When you believe in yourself, you stop tolerating situations that drain your energy or make you feel small. You start demanding more, not because you are difficult, but because you know what you bring to the table. In a relationship, self-worth is often what separates those who settle from those who thrive. Someone who values themselves does not chase after love that is inconsistent or unreliable. They understand that real love does not require them to beg, plead, or prove their worth to someone who cannot see it. Instead, they choose to invest in people who appreciate and cherish them for who they truly are. The way you see yourself teaches others how to treat you. If you constantly accept less, people will assume that is all you deserve. But when you hold yourself to a higher standard, others will either rise to meet it or fall away. And those who fall away were never meant to stay, because real love and respect should never require you to lower your standards. One of the hardest lessons in life is realizing that you cannot make someone see your worth. No matter how much you love them, no matter how much you give, if they do not value you, nothing will change. This is why self-worth is not about them, it is about you. It is about realizing that you deserve someone who chooses you fully, without hesitation. Self-worth also means letting go of the fear of being alone. Many people stay in unhealthy relationships because they are afraid of loneliness. But being alone and at peace is always better than being with someone who makes you feel unworthy. When you embrace your self-worth, you learn to enjoy your own company and recognize that solitude is not a punishment, it is an opportunity to grow. It takes courage to walk away from a situation where you are not valued, but the moment you do, you send a powerful message not just to them, but to yourself. You affirm that you are no longer willing to be an option, a backup plan, or someone's convenience. You are a priority, and you deserve to be treated as such. Self-worth is not arrogance. It is not about thinking you are better than others. It is about knowing that you are enough, just as you are. It is about understanding that you do not have to shrink yourself to be loved or prove your value to someone who refuses to see it. And the moment you truly embrace your worth, you become unstoppable. There is a unique kind of silence that follows when someone who was always there suddenly isn't. It is in that silence that people begin to realize what they have lost. When you remove yourself from someone's life, especially after they have taken you for granted, you give them the space to understand just how much your presence mattered. Sometimes, words cannot teach them what absence will. Being constantly available makes people complacent. When someone knows that you will always be there, they stop valuing your presence. They assume that no matter how they treat you, you will always forgive, always wait, and always try to fix things. But the moment you leave, the moment your presence becomes a memory instead of a reality, they are forced to face the truth. You were never obligated to stay. Absence creates a void that no one else can fill in the same way. They might try to distract themselves, seek attention elsewhere, or pretend they don't care. But deep down, they will feel the shift. They will go to text you and realize there is no response. They will replay old conversations, hear your voice in their mind, and wonder why they never appreciated you the way they should have. People don't often miss the things they take for granted until they're gone. It's easy to overlook someone's kindness, loyalty, and love when it's always there. But when it disappears, reality sets in. They begin to understand the little things. The way you supported them, the comfort of knowing you were always a call away, and the warmth of your presence. They start to recognize that what they lost was something rare and irreplaceable. Absence forces reflection. When you stop reaching out, when you no longer check in, when your energy is no longer available to them, they have to sit with their own thoughts. They begin to wonder why you left, what they could have done differently, and if they even deserve another chance. And in that process, regret begins to build. The impact of absence is deeper than any argument or confrontation. You don't have to explain yourself, beg for understanding, or try to make them see your worth. The simple act of leaving speaks for itself. It forces them to acknowledge what they refused to see before, that your presence was a privilege, not a guarantee. There will come a moment when they realize that no one else treats them the way you did. They will search for the same connection, the same patience, the same love, but they will not find it. Because what you gave came from a place of genuine care, and that kind of love cannot be replaced. That is when they will feel the true weight of your absence. Some people only learn through loss. They do not change when you explain, when you cry, or when you try to make them understand. They only change when they experience the emptiness of losing someone who truly mattered. And by then it is no longer in your hands, it is in theirs to carry. Your absence is not a punishment, it is a lesson. It is a reminder that you were never just an option, never just someone to be used and discarded. And while they are left with regret, you are left with something far greater: your dignity, your peace, and the freedom to move forward without looking back. It is human nature to overlook what seems constant. When something or someone is always available, we assume they will always remain so. We fail to appreciate the depth of their presence, the weight of their love, and the comfort of their consistency. Only when they are gone do we realize how much we depended on them, not just for their actions, but for the feeling of security they brought into our lives. Regret is a heavy burden, and it often arrives too late. The moment you walk away from someone who took you for granted, they are left to face the consequences of their indifference. At first, they might not feel it. They might believe you'll come back, that you're just trying to make a point. But as time passes and your absence lingers, the realization starts to set in. They will think back to all the times they ignored your efforts, dismissed your emotions, or failed to acknowledge your sacrifices. The messages they left unread, the apologies they never made, the small but meaningful moments they brushed aside, all of it will come rushing back piece by piece. And with every memory, the weight of regret will grow heavier. Regret does not strike all at once. It creeps in slowly, showing up in places they least expect. Maybe they hear a song that reminds them of you, or they walk past a place where you once laughed together. Maybe they see someone who resembles you only to be hit with the painful truth that it is not you and never will be. People regret what they take for granted because they assume it will always be there. They believe they have endless chances to make things right, to fix the mistakes, to say what they should have said. But time moves forward and opportunities do not wait. By the time they realize what they lost, you will have already learned to live without them. There is nothing more painful than realizing too late that you should have treated someone better. The ones who take you for granted will look back and wish they had done things differently. They will remember your patience, your kindness, your unwavering presence, and they will long for a chance to go back and undo their mistakes. But life does not offer rewinds, only consequences. Regret is not just about losing someone. It is about realizing that you were the cause of your own loss. It is knowing that you had something valuable and let it slip away. It is understanding that the love you once had is now only a memory, and that no matter how much you wish change the past remains unchanged. At some point they will reach for you, whether in thought or in action. They might try to reconnect, hoping you'll still be waiting. They might send a message, hoping for a response, but by then you will have outgrown the need for their validation. You will have moved forward while they are left stuck in the past, drowning in the regret of what they took for granted. Regret is a painful teacher, but it is not your lesson to learn, it is theirs. And once they realize the depth of what they lost, they will have no choice but to live with it, knowing that they had something rare and priceless, and they let it go without a second thought. Love is not meant to be one-sided. It is not meant to be something that drains one person while the other only receives. True love flourishes when both people give, when both care, and when both make the effort to nurture the relationship. When love is not reciprocated, it turns into exhaustion, disappointment, and eventually heartbreak. Too often, people find themselves in relationships where they are the only ones trying. They are the ones sending the good morning texts, making plans, checking in, and keeping the connection alive. At first, they convince themselves that it's okay, that maybe the other person just needs time, or that love means being patient. But over time, they begin to feel the weight of loving someone who does not give back. There is a difference between love and obligation. Love should not feel like a responsibility that falls on only one person. It should not feel like something that needs to be earned or proven again and again. When love is reciprocated, both people naturally invest in each other without force, without hesitation, and without one person feeling like they are constantly fighting to be seen. Unreciprocated love is painful because it makes you question your worth. You start wondering if you are not enough, if you are asking for too much, if there is something wrong with you. But the truth is, the problem is not you, it is the imbalance in the relationship. Love is not supposed to make you feel like a burden. It is supposed to make you feel valued, wanted, and appreciated. When love is one-sided, it becomes draining. You pour so much of yourself into someone else that you forget to save anything for yourself. You give and give, hoping they will eventually meet you halfway, only to realize that they never intended to. And that realization is one of the most painful things to know, that no matter how much love you gave, it was never enough to make them stay, to make them care, or to make them choose you the way you chose them. Love should be about balance. It is about two people showing up for each other through the good days and the bad. It is about effort, about making the other person feel special, about choosing them every single day. When that balance is missing, when only one person is carrying the weight of the relationship, it is no longer love, it is sacrifice. And love should never feel like sacrificing yourself for someone who wouldn't do the same for you. It is heartbreaking to realize that you love someone more than they loved you. But that pain is also a lesson. It teaches you that love should never be forced, that you should never have to beg for attention, time, or effort. It teaches you that walking away is not giving up, it is choosing yourself when the other person refuses to. At some point, the person who didn't reciprocate your love will realize what they lost. They will look back and remember the way you were always there, always caring, always giving. And they will regret not meeting you with the same energy. But by then, you will have learned the most important lesson of all. Love is not just about how much you give, it is also about how much you receive. Real love is mutual. It is not about chasing, proving, or convincing. It is about two people who choose each other completely and wholeheartedly. Anything less than that is not love, it is settling for something that will never truly fulfill you. Healing does not begin when someone apologizes. It does not come from closure, explanations, or even the realization that they were wrong. True healing begins the moment you choose yourself, the moment you decide that your peace, happiness, and well-being matter more than holding on to someone who couldn't see your worth. For too long, you may have put someone else's needs above your own. You gave your love freely, hoping that one day they would appreciate it. You stayed even when you knew deep down that you deserved better. But healing starts when you finally say, enough. It begins when you stop waiting for them to change and start focusing on yourself instead. Choosing yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. It means setting boundaries and refusing to allow someone to hurt you over and over again. It means walking away from situations that drain you, from people who take more than they give, and from relationships that leave you feeling unworthy. It is realizing that you do not need to sacrifice your happiness to keep someone else in your life. Healing is not an overnight process. Some days you will feel strong, empowered, and ready to move forward. Other days the memories will creep in, and you might question your decision. But every time you choose yourself, you take another step toward healing. Every time you remind yourself why you walked away, you regain a piece of your strength. There is power in reclaiming your happiness. The moment you stop seeking validation from the person who hurt you, you take back control. You realize that their absence does not define you, and their inability to love you the way you deserved is not a reflection of your worth. The real victory is in understanding that your happiness was never dependent on them, it was always within you. When you choose yourself, you also make room for the right things to come into your life. You open the door for relationships that are healthy, fulfilling, and full of mutual love and respect. You begin to attract people who see your value, not because you have to prove it, but because they recognize it from the start. Letting go is one of the hardest parts of healing, but it is also the most freeing. You are not meant to carry the weight of a love that was never fully given to you. You are not meant to hold on to the pain of someone who did not choose you. The moment you release that burden, you allow yourself to heal in ways you never thought possible. Choosing yourself means rewriting your story. It means shifting the focus from what you lost to what you are gaining, a life filled with self-love, confidence, and new beginnings. It means no longer looking back with regret, but instead looking forward with hope. Healing is not about forgetting what happened. It is about learning from it and using that lesson to build something better. You are your own home, your own safe space, and your own source of love. The moment you truly embrace that, healing begins. And once you start healing, there is no turning back, only forward toward the life and love you truly deserve. Memories have a way of lingering long after a person is gone. At first, they may try to push them away, convincing themselves that moving on is easy. But memories do not fade just because we want them to. They stay buried in the smallest moments, a familiar song, a place you once went together, a phrase only you used to say. Over time, those memories become a painful reminder of what they lost. They will remember the way you laughed at their jokes, even the bad ones. They will hear your voice in their mind, Recall the way you made them feel safe, the way you always understood them when no one else did. These memories will come uninvited, creeping into their quiet moments, forcing them to face what they once had but didn't appreciate. At first, they might try to replace you, thinking that someone new can erase what you meant to them. But comparisons are inevitable. They will look for the way you cared, the way you listened, the way you loved them unconditionally. And when they realize that no one else can quite match what you gave, regret will begin to settle in. Certain places will never feel the same to them again. That coffee shop where you used to sit and talk for hours will feel emptier. That song that once played in the background of your late night conversations will now carry a different weight. The little things they once overlooked will suddenly feel significant, like puzzle pieces of a life they didn't realize they cherished until it was gone. Memories are relentless. They have a way of resurfacing at unexpected times when they see someone who looks like you, when they smell your favorite perfume, when they stumble upon an old text or a picture they forgot to delete. In those moments, they will be forced to confront the reality that they let go of someone who was irreplaceable. Time will not erase the impact you had on their life. The longer they go without you, the more they will realize just how much you meant. They will think back to the moments when you needed them, when you were asking for their love and effort, and they chose to ignore it. And that realization will haunt them because they will know that they had the chance to hold on to something real, but they let it slip away. They will remember how you stood by them even when they were difficult to love. They will recall how patient you were, how you forgave them over and over again, how you saw the best in them even when they couldn't see it in themselves. And they will come to understand that they mistook your love for something ordinary when, in reality, it was rare. Regret will not come all at once, but piece by piece, as each memory resurfaces. They may not admit it, but deep down they will feel the weight of losing you. They will realize that they had someone who truly cared, someone who gave them love without conditions, someone who wanted nothing more than to be chosen in return. And that kind of loss is not easy to forget. Memories are both a blessing and a curse. For them, they will serve as a reminder of what they had and what they failed to keep. While they are left replaying the past, you will have moved forward, carrying only the lessons, while they are left holding on to the pain of losing something they can never get back. Regret is one of the heaviest emotions a person can carry. It lingers in the mind, replaying the past like an old film that cannot be rewritten. Unlike sadness, which fades with time, regret grows stronger the longer it is ignored. It does not allow for peace. It forces a person to sit with their mistakes, to confront the reality of what they lost, and to acknowledge that some things can never be undone. At first, regret comes in whispers. It is a quiet at the back of their mind, a fleeting feeling that maybe they should have treated you better. They might brush it off, convincing themselves that they made the right choice or that life will move on as usual. But regret does not fade with distractions. It only waits for the right moment to make itself known. Over time, regret transforms from a passing thought to an unbearable weight. They will start to think about the moments when they could have chosen you but didn't. The times you reached out, asking for love, for effort, for something more, and they turned away. The memories they once ignored will now demand their attention, forcing them to realize that their indifference had consequences. Regret is painful because it comes with the realization that the past cannot be changed. No amount of wishing, apologizing, or longing can undo the choices they made. They will come to understand that they had something special, something rare, but instead of nurturing it, they let it slip away. And now they must live with that knowledge, knowing they cannot go back and fix it. The hardest part of regret is knowing they had the chance to do things differently. They had opportunities to love you the way you deserved, to show up when you needed them, to appreciate you before you walked away. But they didn't. And now, no matter how much they want to, they cannot turn back time. The pain of knowing they were the reason for their own loss is something they will have to carry. Regret creeps in when they least expect it. It will appear in the middle of the night when they are alone with their thoughts. It will hit them when they see someone else treating you the way they should have. It will haunt them in the quiet moments when they realize they let go of someone who truly cared. Regret is not loud, it is silent, persistent, and unrelenting. There is no easy escape from regret. They might try to move on quickly, distract themselves with new people or new experiences, but deep down they will feel the emptiness left behind. They will look for pieces of you in other people, hoping to replace what they lost, but nothing will feel the same. No one will understand them the way you did. No one will love them with the same depth. Regret is painful because it is permanent. Unlike heartbreak, which can heal, regret is a wound that does not close. It serves as a constant reminder of what could have been if only they had chosen differently. And as time passes, that realization will only grow stronger, making them wish they had seen your worth before it was too late. The weight of regret is theirs to bear, not yours. While they are left replaying the past, you are free to move forward. While they are stuck in the pain of losing you, you are learning, growing, and healing. Regret will keep them trapped in what once was. But you are walking toward what will be. Closure is often misunderstood. Many believe it comes from a final conversation, an apology, or an explanation that makes everything make sense. But true closure is not something another person can give you. It is something you find within yourself. It is not about hearing the words you always wanted to hear. It is about accepting what has already been said, and more importantly, what has been left unsaid. At first, you may search for answers. You may replay every conversation, every fight, every moment that led to the end, hoping to find the missing piece that will make it all make sense. You may convince yourself that if they just explain why they hurt you, why they left, or why they didn't love you the way you loved them, then you could finally move on. But the truth is, even with those answers, the pain wouldn't disappear. Closure is not about getting an apology. Some people will never say they're sorry even when they know they were wrong. Others will offer hollow apologies that hold no real meaning. But closure does not come from waiting for someone else to make peace with what happened. It comes from making peace with it yourself. The moment you stop expecting closure from the person who hurt you, you take back your power. You realize that their actions or lack of actions are not a reflection of your worth. You understand that you do not need their validation to heal. You do not need their regret to move forward. The only person who can truly give you closure is you. Closure comes when you accept that the past cannot be changed. No amount of analyzing, questioning, or wishing can undo what has already happened. What's done is done, and no matter how much you may have wanted a different ending, some stories are meant to be unfinished. And that's okay. Some people are only meant to be part of your journey, not your destination. Healing begins when you stop searching for explanations and start focusing on yourself. Instead of asking, why did they do this to me? You start asking, what can I learn from this? Instead of waiting for them to make things right, you decide to make things right for yourself. Closure is not about the other person, it is about you choosing to let go. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It does not mean what happened was okay. It simply means that you are no longer allowing it to control you. You are choosing to release the anger, the sadness, and the unanswered questions, because holding on to them only keeps you stuck in the past. And you deserve to move forward. There will be moments when the past tries to pull you back. when you feel the urge to seek answers again. But in those moments, remind yourself that closure is not about what they say or do, it is about what you decide. The peace you are looking for is already within you. You just have to choose it. Closure is not given, it is created. It is the quiet decision to stop waiting, to stop wondering, and to start healing. It is the realization that you do not need anything from them to move on. You are your own closure, and that is more powerful than anything they could ever say. There is no greater power than walking away from someone who expected you to stay broken. Moving on is not just about forgetting the past, it is about reclaiming your happiness, your confidence, and your peace. It is about proving, not to them, but to yourself, that you are so much more than the pain they left behind. At first, they might believe you will always be there, stuck in the same cycle of waiting, hoping and longing for what once was. They might assume that you will forever be haunted by their absence, unable to find joy without them. But the greatest revenge is showing them, without a single word, that their absence did not destroy you, it made you stronger. Moving on is not about pretending you were never hurt. It is about choosing to heal instead of letting the pain consume you. It is about realizing that your life does not end because one person failed to see your worth. You refuse to let their choices define your future. You take all the love you once gave them and pour it back into yourself. The moment you begin to glow again, to laugh without hesitation, to love without fear, they will notice. And that is when regret will creep in. They will see you living a life they no longer have access to. They will realize that while they stayed the same, you grew. While they remained stuck in their patterns, you evolved. There will come a day when they look at you and wonder how they ever let you go. They will remember the times you fought for them, the moments you begged for their effort, and they will realize how foolish they were to take you for granted. But by then, it will be too late. Because moving on is not just about leaving the past behind, it is about never looking back. The best revenge is happiness. It is finding love in places they never thought you would. It is succeeding in ways they never imagined. It is proving to yourself that you are complete, that you never needed them to be whole. The version of you they left behind is gone, replaced by someone who refuses to settle for anything less than what they deserve. Moving on is not about showing them what they lost, it is about rediscovering what you gained. It is about finding peace in solitude, joy in your own presence, and strength in your independence. When you move on, you break the chains they thought would hold you forever. You set yourself free. They might come back. They might try to reopen doors that have long been closed. But by then you will have outgrown them. You will have realized that you deserved more all along. And nothing is more powerful than the moment you no longer crave what once hurt you. The greatest revenge is not anger, not bitterness, not even words. It is silence. It is walking away with grace. It is letting go so completely that they become nothing more than a distant memory. And that is when you truly win. At the end of it all, the true victory is in your peace. It is in the quiet confidence of knowing you no longer need closure, validation, or apologies to move forward. It is in the realization that their absence did not break you, it freed you. You are no longer waiting, hurting, or hoping for something that was never meant to last. You have reclaimed your happiness, your power, and your self-worth. You have built a life filled with love, growth, and endless possibilities. And while they may still linger in the shadows of regret, you are walking forward into a future that no longer includes them. The greatest closure is not proving them wrong, it is proving yourself right. It is knowing that you are always enough, always worthy, and always deserving of a love that chooses you without hesitation. And now, you are ready for it.